too. I just talked about, excuse me, intent. And we find that every piece of writing has an intent, a purpose, especially in the literary world. Uh, you know, every writer must have an intent, or else it becomes writing for writing's sake. So we find that clowns, jesters, fools, humorists, especially in Shakespearean tragedy, are used to pass across great and bitter truths. I came across a piece by a humorist on a humor site, whose purported purpose is entertainment. However, the seeker of real truth and real freedom will understand the deep truth that is contained in this piece. As we know, as I've just said, there's always a grain of truth in humor. And this piece that I came across reads thus. It says, Pope Francis has surprised the world by announcing that the Bible is totally outdated and needs a radical change. So the Bible is officially cancelled, and it's announced a meeting between the highest personalities of the church, where it will be decided that the book will, the book that will replace it, its name and its content. Some names are already being considered, and the one that has more strength is Biblia 2000. So it continues, we cannot keep trying to talk our public in a totally new world with a book that has thousands of years. We are losing followers, and we have to go a step further in the search for the modernization of the church to rewrite the Word of God, even if it is only the Old Testament, in which there are certain passages that it is better not to repeat. The news has fallen like a bomb among the most conservative, who considered this idea the definitive clue to the madness of Pope Francis. And the crux of this humorous piece is that the church cannot continue to be using a book that is thousands of years old and which has no correlation with life as it is now. So what I find is that this piece seems to vindicate the new wavies, the new man, the new nowness. So what is your reaction to what I called expensive humor to Christendom, Duane?
Well, what I would say is that it sounds exactly like Joni in a dark room all by herself, considering, what Paul presented is interesting, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create worship and prayer and funerals and ceremonies so that everybody is even more dumbed down and controlled. I would say that, yes, the reference there, we're losing followers, so we need a new marketing plan. Has nothing to do with what I'm doing. No, has to do with the one world order. In other words, they're going to create the new book, okay, because the Pope has proclaimed that the old stuff is old. So we're going to create the new doctrine. And guess what? It's going to be a lot better. It's going to be like Wi-Fi and chemtrails and subliminals. It's going to be a lot better. You're going to like it a lot better. It's going to be upbeat. But guess what? It's going to be more restrictions. Yeah, is what it's going to be. And just like they vote in a president every time, a new one, thinking it's going to be better like Obama and all these people in Bush and whatever, it gets worse and worse and worse. No, what they're doing is they're setting people up for it to get worse. It's nothing to do with what I'm presenting. Yeah, you can think that, but no, that's not it. It's a control over the masses. You see, people are becoming more aware. That's why they're leaving the church. So they need a new marketing ploy to bring people back and keep them dumbed down and subservient. You see, because they're afraid. So what they do is they do this PR to the public. You know, that it's like a divine thing. Oh, the higher ups in the church, all these knuckleheads that, they destroy people. They're destroyers. They're behind all the wars and all the criminals and all the drug dealing of the world. This is what they do. They're behind all of this. They're the Federal Reserve, etc. They don't have a better plan. They got a worse plan. Everything that they implement, everything that's updated. Look at the Skype here. Look at Windows 10 from Microsoft. Heck, 7 and before were better. It's more control. It's more abrasive. It's more to deal with. It doesn't get better. It gets worse. It all gets worse. That's the plan. That's God's plan. And all of a sudden, they're going to rewrite God's plan? Oh, gee, see, they're the know-it-alls, aren't they? Well, it can only get worse. Well, there was no God's plan. Again, that was all Inky and the reptilians from Orion that created all that nonsense. This is just marketing ploy, Charles. That's it. 100% marketing ploy. Has nothing to do with the new wave or what I'm presenting at all. It's night and day. There's my answer.
So what caught my attention was this sentence that we cannot keep trying to talk to our public in a totally new world with a book that is thousands of years old. You see, and I just said, well, this is true. There are some grains of truth in this statement, even though it says, as you've explained, there's a bigger marketing plan behind. But I just took out these excerpts just to illustrate. There's no comparison that can be made with the new presentation here. But it's just to show that look at these people. They have what you call the scriptures. They are holy scriptures. But the new presentation talks about life itself, life as it is breaking from moment to moment, you see. And while others are stuck with a book, with a fake book that is thousands of years old and has been edited and re-edited, and whatever little truth it had from the beginning has been expurgated. So when I compare it to what you are presenting, I find what you're presenting is fresh. It talks about the world in which we are. In fact, if the word gospel is anything to go by, the gospel of the new presentation is life itself. Life itself as it is happening now. You see, not some old book, no matter whether it is 5,000 years old or anything like that. So that was really that's what caught my attention, and I said I should bring it for discussion.
Let me interject here, Charles. Again, look at the words. And it just depends upon how you look at them. Okay, so he's using the term, and I'm going from what you said, new world. Okay, new world. Okay, that implies new world order. See, it's a hint, is what that implies. And besides, this is not a new world. The way I see the world, it's not negative, but the thing is that what they're doing is they're bringing up more nails for the lid of the coffin. And how many nails do you need to keep the coffin lid shut? This world is dead. It's really dead. The only thing that's alive or can be alive is the awareness, the real awareness of the individual. But other than that, just like the movies, it's The Walking Dead. There ain't no new world here. This world is destroyed and being destroyed even more until it's totally destroyed, till it's like Mars. There ain't no new world here. They're giving subliminals, new world order. So in other words, what he's really saying without the word order, he's really saying, oh, we need a new book. That will be the new world order. See, he's laying it out right there. You know, just little by little. They've been talking about it a long time. The Bushes, old Daddy Bush, old George Bush. He made speeches many, many years ago, decades ago. Oh, we need a new world order here. It sounds good, doesn't it? It sounds really good. But really what it is that we need the whole world to be a concentration camp that we decide what you will think and do. That's what they're really saying. There's no alternatives. That's it. That's it. There's no La La Land here. You're playing in the prison yard. You want to keep playing in the prison yard? No, you can say there's a grain of truth, but again, I don't refer to truth because what the reptilian Vatican is representing and saying is that this is our truth. Okay, we're giving you our truth. Okay, fine. And they can have whatever they want, but that's their truth. So when we're talking about truth, everybody has their own truth. There is, you might say, no truth in the new presentation. It's not about truth. It's about what makes sense. We're making sense of things. When you talk to the birds or the bees or the animals, are you talking truth to them? Okay, what truth is that? Okay. It's like, what do you tell them? Oh, I'm a human with attitudes. Okay, that's me. And you're a bird. Do you have attitudes? And the bird would probably say something like, well, I don't need attitudes. I just fly and I just survive. And, I experience the natural environment. Basically, that's what the bird will say. But the human, that's decided this world, he's got all these attitudes and ideas and plans and this and that. And the end result is, it all leads to self-destruction. I guess that makes sense. So now we got a bigger plan here that overlaps all the other plans. Now we can just get people to agree to decide to self-destruct even faster. That's the whole plan. That's always been the plan. You see them in stages implementing it. It doesn't get better. Again, it gets worse. And, it's not about truth. This is like the love idea. People use this idea so loosely, thinking that, oh, we'll just love everything and it'll just solve everything. Well, all the lovers in the world, have they solved the world's problems? No, it's gotten worse. It hasn't helped to really, maybe a little bit here and there. It's like, the ocean's all polluted, or the lakes and the streams are all polluted and poisoned. So you got your little water filter there. So you're filtering the water. Yeah, that helps. You're helping yourself do that, but that doesn't fix the lakes and the streams and the oceans, does it? Just because you're thinking in your mind, oh, I'm drinking fresh water. Well, hey, the rest of it's still poisoned. You see, it doesn't fix it. Those little ideas don't fix it. And this truth thing, that's why I don't relate to truth. That's why I don't say, oh, this is the truth and that's the truth. These are ideas that people have and they call it a truth. That's not it at all. It has nothing to do with truth. When you look at the sun shining, where's the truth? Is there truth there? There's no truth there. It's an awesome isness. That's what it's demonstrating. It's awesome. Can you see it? Can you really see what it's demonstrating? You don't need truth. Again, people wrestle with these ideas. They confuse themselves, and they keep destroying themselves and the environment with their truths. Yeah, so I don't see that at all. I look at what's going on, and then I try to present something or do something that makes sense, and I'm at the mercy of this world too. I can only do so much. I buy products, and they have containers, and I throw them out in the trash can. Not as much as everybody else. It comes with giant plastic bags and whatever. But the thing is that I still do that too. I still produce trash here, and yeah, I do my part to contribute. But at the same time, I'm trying to present something to the world to see if it will agree to me to making better choices, and that will help me also. It's it's like a team effort. We all do it to make better choices, and then we've made better choices, you see. But in the meantime, no, everybody's got their own truth. That's what they're after. And again, it's a literalized world, so they're thinking that, oh, gee, it doesn't matter if the chemtrails are poisoning us because, I have my own truth, and that is, you know what, I just don't believe it. So that just erases all of that. You see, I just did that in an instant. Whoa, I'm magical, all right? See, again, these are the truths that people carry around, and what do they equal? They're still destroying the world. They're still unaware. They're still agreeing to the demise of themselves, etc. So much for truth. You can have it. I would rather have the awareness of recognizing what is real, the isness, and eventually you stand there, you become it. You stand real. So again, that's the idea of the real supporter. Yeah, it's right in your face. Are you ready to do it? Or do you want to just keep doing what you've always done because it's not working? And the real side will show you that it's not working. So you decide how far you want to go with yourself and really look at it. Again, the projects and just even the idea of moving towards those, that's what we're doing at the school. These little things really do add up. And the quality. So more so than what is truth and what is not truth and all this criticism and stuff like that. I'm not criticizing the world. I'm pointing out what's taking place already to show people that, is this what you really want? Or do you want to learn to see more than you ever have before? Or do you want to keep staying in this little circle of events that you create and keep saying, oh, I don't like that, I like this, this is truth, this ain't truth? Is that it? Is that all you want to see and bring forward? It's a choice, isn't it? So yes, you have to be a risk taker, and you got to see it. And I cannot prove what I see. I can only demonstrate the best that I can. But there are a few of us that see it on the real side. That's the best part. We see each other. We really do. And eventually we'll drop the body. It'll just float away anyhow because we won't need it. Eventually, guess what? You don't need the 5 bodies anymore. You'll be in a pure state of being that's awesome. You won't need this anymore. You'll have gone through the cocoon. But until you give up all these emotional attachments to all of the things that you've created here, well, you'll stay in the cocoon. You'll stay in your own cocoon, and it'll just get tighter and tighter and tighter. So again, what I see presented on the world stage is just like that. These are staged events, and people can have their truths. These are their truths. Like when they hold up the Bible, it's like, this is the truth. Okay, fine, have fun with it. I don't care. I'm just seeing who will show up, that will take the risk, that will see, what's really going on through all of this. See through it. And see, that's where the is, you might say, wants us to learn to see, because once we recognize it, it recognizes us. And by that very fact, it supports us, we support it. It's like the air you breathe. It's just like that simple. But you got to take the time to recognize it. And then you got to take the risk. And, the adventure here is to share it with others, because these people do want to see it. But there's only so much time, because when people are adamant to, feverishly create their own demise continuously, you can't stop them. You can't stop them from doing that, because you can't interfere with the free will. All you can do is present it. That's all we can do. Yes, and Mr. Bill is back. Thank you, Mr. Bill. And yes, go ahead, Charles.